It's 7 p.m. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Here are stories making headlines tonight. President of the Ghana School of Law alleged to have misappropriated funds describes as unconstitutional and laughable, reports that he has been interdicted. Coming up in business, the Institute of Energy Security predicts fuel prices will stay same or go down marginally for the remainder of April 2022. And on the international front, the United Nations condemns a mortal attack by the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab on Somalia's parliament, which injured at least 7 people, including bodyguards. Details of these and many other stories are coming up shortly. Stay with us. Hello again. We begin from here as the president of the Ghana School of Law Students Representative Council, Wanda Victor Kuto, has rubbished reports he has been interdicted. The Students Representative Council of the Ghana School of Law allegedly interdicted their president over alleged financial misappropriation. We'll speak to the man at the center of all the controversy shortly. But first, here is a desk report on happenings so far.
In a press release dated April 12, 2022 and signed by the Registrar of the Ghana School of Law, the management stated that it is with immediate effect taking action to probe the issues. Wanda Victor Kuto, among other accusations, is also said to be running an SRC-owned mobile money business with his company name and diverting proceeds from the business for his personal use. The Executive Council of the SRC queried the president, but said they are not convinced with his answers. They therefore constituted a committee to investigate the matter. Pressure has since mounted on the SRC president to resign while investigations are done, but he is reported to have turned down such suggestions. The Students Representative Council of Ghana School of Law, however, says it has interdicted its president based on a prima facie case it has established against him. The Executive Council further indicated that it has, by the resolution and the Article 20 Clause 4 of the SRC Constitution, appointed Yofi Imprem, Vice President of the Green Hill Campus, as interim president until the findings of the investigation committee are complete. Meanwhile, the SRC President of the Ghana School of Law Student Representative Council, Wanda Victor Kuto, has rubbished reports he has been interdicted.
Right, so let's speak to the SRC president himself, Victor Kuto, who has joined me in the studio for more on this. Victor, thank you very much for joining me. How do you respond to these allegations? One of them is that you bought a 2014 Toyota Corolla with, the school funds at an exorbitant fee. Also, they say that some mobile money account in the name of the council, you have withdrawn almost all the monies in it. How do you respond to these accusations?
Thank you very much, and good evening to the viewers. Respectfully, before we get to these issues, let's set out certain rules. So, for example, I just look at your reportage that some purported executive council meeting has resolved that I should be interdicted. Let me say this, that executive council meeting are properly called. Executive council meeting are properly called. And respectfully, under the constitution of the SRC, as president, I chair the executive council meeting. And I will instruct secretary to inform members of the executive council of date, venue, and time for executive council meetings. Now, we have a convention that there are times that we have emergency council meetings. emergency council meetings, at every point in time, the president must be in the know. If I'm unable to chair the emergency meeting, then I delegate for one of the vice presidents to chair. So it's important that you know that procedure is important as the substance. So it's not possible for a group of executives to meet and say they've passed a resolution. Now, let's put this in proper context. Management of the school has released a notice that they are doing an investigation on all the allegations. 1. 2, some students have sent a matter to the SRC courts. Both of these major stakeholders, management and the court, they are yet to come out with adverse findings against me. So how is it possible that a group of executives will meet and say that, look, you have been interdicted? What's the constitutional basis? This is the law school. And at the heart of the law is common sense. An allegation has been made. I said, look, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Any committee that invites me, I will avail myself. Then a group of executives will meet and say, you've been interdicted. And within 1 week, the secretary has issued 3 notices. One, when I was in the US, in Texas, on an official assignment, he issued a notice that I was part of a committee that voted for some 3 members to be part of the committee. That was wrong. If he said I was part of the meeting, then who chaired the meeting? Because as president, I ought to have chaired the meeting. That was wrong. 2, he issued another notice that I should step aside. Whilst I was away, last night I heard he has issued another notice that I've been interdicted. The SRC goes beyond issuing notices. It goes beyond running to the media, issuing notices, said you've copied management, you've done. The SRC goes beyond that.
Right.
His notices has eventually becoming a liability on the SRC. It's affecting receivables due the SRC. I want us to put this in proper context.
Let me come here briefly. You said when you were in Texas, they issued a statement and all that. Are you saying that the SRC cannot function without your presence? That's why you have vice presidents and other leaders of the group. So are you saying that when you were absent, they should have waited for you to return before doing that?
What I have just said, that if we are going to have an executive council meeting, even away, we have what we call Zoom meetings. For example, quite recently, under my instructions, the secretary was in Uganda. We had to issue notices. But we waited, we corresponded with him. Whilst in Uganda, he issued a notice on behalf of the SRC, under my instructions. I wouldn't say because he's in Uganda, we will do things behind him. No. There are always structures that we work with. So you cannot just wake up and say, if a group of executives meet and at the fufu joint and stuff, that is not executive council meeting. Executive council meetings are properly called with notices. When I arrived on Saturday, I reached out to him that in the course of the week, I will let him circulate notices to executive council members for us to meet. Because I'm here to appoint the electoral commissioner. Under the constitution, as president, I have to consult the executive council. 2, the executive council must appoint an audit committee to audit the SRC. So these are some of the things that I'll be doing in the next few days. It is not up to, look, I was elected by the student body.
Right.
I won on all the 3 campuses. I went to a period of transition. I was sworn into office. So let's even apply common sense.
Right.
5 members, executives, said they've interdicted their president. Let's put emotions aside.
Okay. Victor, would you say that all these things point to the fact that the executive is regarding you as a persona non grata?
Oh, like I said, as I sit here now, I've forgiven the secretary. I've forgiven him. I have nothing against him. I was elected by students. Okay. I have the duty to bring all of them together. In spite of all of this, I've forgiven him. Tomorrow I'll be in the office. Work continues. It is not about issuing notices. You've been interdicted. Step aside. Do this. It's not. The SRC goes beyond issuing notices. The matter is before the courts. The process of removing the SRC president is clear, black and white in the constitution. The SRC courts is there. The matter is before the courts. If the court comes out with a ruling that you have been impeached, I have no. But even that, there will be rules. They say on stated grounds. So definitely, I'll be given the opportunity to be heard. Here, the other side. As you speak now, your reporter says management said they are investigating the matter.
Okay.
The matter is also before the SRC court. No adverse findings, as you speak now, have been made against me. Just allegations. Based on allegations, you say you have interdicted the president.
Would you say that you are being witch-hunted with all these things that are going on by the executives?
What I would say is that whether we all like it or not, we will account. I've asked them before I travel that Uganda, account. Let's know how things went in Uganda. I don't want to speculate now whether we like it or not. The treasurer is also a signatory to the SRC account. If you claim their financial mismanagement, they should print out the financial statement. Auditing will be done. It should be published. It should be published.
Right.
You understand? We are not hiding. Everybody will account. All the monies that were written to everybody to do specific duties.
Okay.
Why are they running away? Why? What is the problem? But like I said, I'm forgiving the secretary. I have a duty as president. I was elected not by the 5 or 2 or 3 executives. I was elected by the entire student body. So I have a larger duty to the student body. If it was indeed within the frameworks, if it was in the contemplation of the frameworks of the Constitution, that a person who has been elected by the student as president, that it can take just 5 people to remove him from office, then what are we doing at the law school?
Okay.
Then they can as well be electing president. Those 5 people can be determined. I hope you get a point.
Right.
I was elected by the student body.
Okay.
We have the SRC courts. Today, the court sat on an issue. Today, on similar SRC matters. Today, the court sat. So why is the secretary going above management? Why is he rushing beyond the SRC courts? Management said they are going to investigate the matter. Management having come out with advanced findings. The Supreme Court of the SRC, they are also, the matter is before them. The same matter is before the SRC courts. They are not yet done.
Right.
Secretary said you have interdicted the president. What are you running away from? Because you take instructions from me. In any case, you've been part of all of these things. You issued notice. Even before I left for Texas, you secretary, you issued a notice that I'm traveling to Texas on official assignment. Only for me to get there, then you start issuing funny notices. What does he want to prove?
Right.
But you see, it's quite unfortunate for me at this stage that the kind of SRC that I sought to do, the scholarship scheme, the expansion of the business center, the water supply to all the classes, all of this that we've done, it's quite unfortunate that all this bad press is kind of putting the image of the SRC badly. Okay. But like I indicated earlier, the actions of the secretary within just 1 week has cost the SRC a lot. Because there were some sponsorship money that were due the SRC. Some of these institutions are not holding it. You see, because of just single action of one person. So it's important that we all work very well in the interest of the SRC. Okay. You may think that you are engaging in a personal fight, but we should all look at the larger interest of the SRC. I don't need to go to court to say I'm the SRC president. No, I won't. It's null and void. So I don't even need to take any steps. I was selected, I was sworn in, so I'm not bothered. Okay. I'm SRC president. Okay. If he claims I've been interdicted, they will have to go to court to restrain me from performing my functions. But I've been sworn in. Okay,
let's come to the allegations.
Yes,
you have been accused of embezzling funds of the council to buy a 2014 Toyota Corolla. How true is that?
Right. Like I indicated earlier, I will not go into the specific, but because of public opinion, yes, I want to delve in briefly. Okay. So, management requested that SRC gets a vehicle for the Kumasi campus, a saloon vehicle, not a bus. I've seen some reportage also, a saloon vehicle. So the understanding was that we go through the procurement process. As president, I'm not a member of the procurement committee. So the procurement team submitted their report to me. What I did, I only served as a conveyor belt. I forwarded the procurement report to management. Don't forget that it is management that released the funds to the SRC account. After they also do their checks, you get a point. After they also do their checks, they also, because the school has internal audit, it goes through registry, like it goes through processes. So I forwarded the procurement report to the school, and the school released the funds. Now, if you look at the check going around, 71,500. If you look at the component, the breakdown, you realize that they've just given out those figures erroneously. The 71,500 or so per the check has about 4 components. 1, the cost of the vehicle. 2, the cost of 1 year comprehensive insurance. 3, the cost of branding. And then 4, the cost of registration. So the idea was that, with procurement, the company that wins the bid should do all these 4. So it's not as SRC president, I'll be going to DVLA, I'm going to register the vehicle, or I'll be looking for insurance company. No. Once you win the bid, you give us the cost of the vehicle, you do the 1 year comprehensive insurance. So what we should be asking ourselves now is that, did somebody take money for 1 year comprehensive insurance and went and did third party? That's a relevant question. Okay. We should be asking, if somebody goes to the market to buy the same vehicle, what will be the cost of the vehicle? But in any case, let's link this to all these notices that the secretary is issuing.
Victor, I'm afraid for the sake of time, I'd like you to respond to another allegation which says that a business owned by the council proceeds from the Momo account you have transferred it into your account. How do you respond to that? Briefly, in about 20 seconds.
It's ridiculous. So when we took over, the current Momo Center was bush. I mean, the pictures are there. It was bush. I will plead with you after this call. I'll forward it to you. You put it out. It was just bush. And students go to the markets to do mobile money. So luckily for us, management supported us. I must be very frank. Management supported us. And we constructed, please take note, we constructed a Momo Center in the center where they do affidavit and stuff. So lawyers come there to do their commission. Like we have a commissioner for oath there. So it was a Momo Center. And as an extension of the business center we inherited, we constructed a new one. As SRC president, I donated my SIM card. SRC didn't have a merchant SIM card. I had one. So I donated it to the SRC for Momo. The proceeds, we said that they should run the place for about 1 year, every 6 months. Then, the Momo, the money will come every month. They will give it to the administrator, and then we account to the SRC.
Okay.
For example, the SRC has a bookshop. When we came, because we renovated the place, the owner of the bookshop has agreed to be giving the SRC rent. You understand? And this is not the first time I'm donating something to the SRC. Respectfully, all the campuses, I donated water dispensers to all the campuses. Not only me, some students donate resources to the SRC. Some students have donated 1,000, 7,000 to the SRC during the symposium.
Right.
So there's nothing, you get a... So the question is, when we talk about conflict of interest...
I'm afraid we will have to wrap up for the sake of time, but thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
But in wrapping up, I just want to thank you and to thank the entire student body. That we should put out emotions, and I want to thank them. Let's stick to the issues. Let's stick to the issue and say that, let me use this platform to call on all members of the Executive Council that we have a common goal. We have a common goal to satisfy the interests of the student body.
Right.
Let's put all personal issues aside.
Right, Victor, thank you very much for coming once again. He is the SRC President of the Ghana School of Law. To some other news, as fuel prices will remain stable throughout the month of April, the Institute of Energy Securities has projected. IES attributed the projected stability in the prices to the drop in prices of petroleum products on the international market in the last pricing window.
In its review of the April 2022 first pricing window from April 1st to April 16, 2022, the IES found that Brent crude price stayed mostly below the $110 per barrel mark, closing the window below $5,100 per barrel. For the window under assessment, prices reached an average of $104.98 per barrel, representing a 3.03% reduction over the previous window's average price of $108.27 per barrel, it said. Gasoline price fell marginally by 1.06% from its initial price of $1,060.23 per metric ton to the end date price of $149.02 per metric ton, it added. The institute, however, indicated that the cedi, which was a major variable in determining fuel prices locally, depreciated by 1.44% to close at 7 cedis, 79 pesos to the dollar from the earlier window's rate of 7 cedis, 68 pesos to the dollar. For the remainder of April 2022, with a 1.5% cedi depreciation against the dollar, 1.06% fall in petrol price, 3.65% fall in diesel price, and 3.72% fall in the price of LPG per metric ton, the IES projects relative stability in the price of fuel on the local market.
Right, so let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I'll be joined by IES's Fritz Moses for more on this. Fritz, good to have you on the show. What were the other factors that went into this prediction?
All right, thank you, Ken, and thanks for having me. Yes, essentially, like you stated, we're looking at two variables, mainly the international market prices, and then also the cedi, the rate against the US dollar. Fortunately for us, in the last pricing window, that's the first pricing window of April, we saw some drop in prices on the international market, where Brent fell by some 3%, diesel fell by some 3% also. LPG prices also went down by some 2.4%, and then gasoline, that petrol, also went down by some 1.27%. And so we're expecting that these gains made on the international market would certainly reflect on the local market. But unfortunately, the second variable that influences price, that's the CD exchange rate against the US dollar. Didn't fare well. I mean, of course, beginning this year, we've seen a consistent depreciation of the CD that hasn't accounted for the drop in prices that we have seen recently on the international market. And so, even though prices fall on the international markets for the various commodities, petrol, diesel, LPG, we are seeing prices stabilizing in Ghana because our CD failed to make gains against the dollar or even stabilize against the dollar, but rather depreciated by some 1.44%, like stated earlier. And so we expect that the majority of the OMCs would maintain their prices at the pumps to, of course, make up for the cost that would have to be made from the depreciation of the city.
Okay.
But then again, of course, there are other OMCs that may want to reduce their prices in order to cut in on the market and to increase their market share. So that's something that they would have to decide for themselves.
Okay. One of the reasons that was given by analysts like yourself for the recent hike in prices of fuel was the ongoing war in Ukraine. The war is still ongoing, but it looks like fuel prices are coming down. Why is that so?
The market is a sentimental, I would say, industry. And so in the event where any action or activity that possibly could curtail either supply or demand of products, to essentially push prices up or down depending on what the activity is. And so when the invasion of Ukraine happened, we saw prices reach around $140 per barrel at a point in time. But then what we are seeing now is the correction of the market where traders are becoming familiar with the current situation. And of course, we've heard output promises by OPEC, by IEA, by the US, and several other countries are looking to come in to supply the Russian food that $7 million barrels per day Russian food that we are potentially going to make on the market.
Okay.
And of course, beginning in April, we saw prices fall because demand was expected to fall because coronavirus had become resurgent in China. There were lockdowns and all that in Beijing, Shanghai.
Okay. Right. First, I'm afraid for the sake of time, we'll have to end the conversation here. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Fritz Moses is a research analyst at IES. You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro TV. We go for another break. We'll be back with more. If you just joined us, this is Newsnight on Metro TV with me, Kenneth Jesse. Let's bring you some more stories as a 10-year-old boy by name Emmanuel Atasrebois has died on the spot while 5 others are injured and receiving treatment at the Kwewu Government Hospital after a Hyundai Creta saloon car rammed into their shop at Abetifi in Kwewu in the Eastern Region. According to the Eastern Regional Police PRO, DSP Ebenezer Tete, the vehicle with registration number GW 4826-20 swerved off the road and ran into the container shop. He said the driver, Charles Apia, has been arrested and is helping police with investigation. Meanwhile, 6 robbery suspects have been arrested by the police in connection with a series of robbery attacks, including carjacking in the Greater Accra and Central regions.
In a statement released by the Ghana Police Service, the 6 suspects were arrested through its target intelligence-led operation between the period of April 15 and April 17, 2022. The 6 suspects, Jibrila Musa alias Danturi, Hussein Sampa, Daniel Akwa, Anthony Saki, Michael Ojo, and Adebanjo were arrested at various locations across the 2 regions. According to the police, items retrieved so far from the suspects are 1 locally manufactured gun, 1 foreign pistol, a cache of ammunition, 2 iPhones and 4 wristwatches. One of the stolen vehicles have also been retrieved. They further explained that the suspects have admitted during interrogations to their involvement in robberies over the years and are helping the police in investigation. The service has assured the public of their commitment to ensuring a safe and secure environment for all.
A lot of people are still in the Easter mood as beaches in the central region were highly occupied by revelers on Easter Monday. A downpour in the morning to keep the atmosphere cool could not even demotivate people as they had fun alongside the beaches.
On the beaches, revelers enjoyed themselves to the max since the beaches were closed for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here at the beaches in the central region, revelers expressed their joy. They say it comes as refreshing having the beaches opened after they were closed as part of measures to mitigate the spread of the virus. Here are some persons speaking to Metro News.
2 years now because of COVID-19, beaches or environment like this has not been seen for the past 2 years. So me today coming, it's a pleasure. It's very nice, and security service, everything is over here. It's fine.
I can see billions of people around. It do happen some years ago, and I wasn't suspecting this year it will happen due to the rain. But unfortunately, I can see many clouds enjoying themselves.
Meanwhile, the Omankrado of Gomafete, Nana Kwesi Kwansa, has decried the poor nature of roads leading to the beaches in the central region. He said it serves as demotivating factor to patrons, even though the area has beautiful beaches. He had called on authorities to improve the state of roads.
Let's take you to the Vatican, where Pope Francis has criticized the war in Ukraine as a cruel and senseless conflict. In his Easter address, he also called for reconciliation among Israelis and Palestinians and others in conflict zones.
We have seen all too much blood, all too much violence. Our hearts have been filled with fear and anguish, as so many of our brothers and sisters have had to lock themselves away in order to be safe from bombing. Shall we put an end to the human race, or shall mankind renounce war? The conflict in Europe also makes us more concerned about other situations of conflict, suffering and sorrow, situations that affect all too many areas of our world, situations that we cannot overlook and do not want to forget. Unfortunately, the clouds that obscure our time are still thick. In addition, in the pandemic, Europe is experiencing a terrible war, while injustices and violence that destroy humanity and the planet continue in many parts of the world. It is often your peers who pay the highest price. Not only is their existence compromised and made insecure, but also their dreams of the future are destroyed. Many brothers and sisters are still waiting for the light of Easter.
Let's take you to the Ashanti region, where the regional Saki Zongo Sultan Alhaji Umar Farouk Said has urged Muslims to use the month of Ramadan, which is to pray for the continuous peace and prosperity of Ghana and the well-being of the citizens. He made the appeal at an iftar ceremony in Kumasi.
In the month of Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it mandated on Muslims to fast during daylight hours and follow the commandment of Allah. The holy month provides Muslims with countless opportunities to become more pious and seek repentance for past sins. In view of this, that the office of the Vice President under the auspices of Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia organized iftar for elders of the Zongo community in the Ashanti region. A staffer at the office of the Vice President Alhaji Jalis Raj, who doubles as the Muhadimi of Zongo in Ashanti region, underscored the need for Muslims to come together as one people and seek for the development of Zongo communities.
We are just gathering ourselves to pray for the God forgiveness, to pray, to forgive each other. There are those whom you don't know, that they have a problem with each other. But I think we can use this platform to solve all the problems. Saying hello to your brother will tell you that your brother has forgiven you, so you should respond hello to him so that you can also forgive him. So it's nothing by organizing ourselves, rebuilding ourselves, restructure ourselves, give thanks to Almighty Allah, shows that indeed Zongo has changed. We are the new leaders of the Zongo community.
The Asawase NDC organizer Alhaji Ibrahim Ayaz commended the Vice President for initiating the iftar, which is aimed at fostering unity among the Zanga communities. He urged residents of the Zanga community to strive to take up leadership positions so as to give back to the community.
A peace ambassador.
The Zongo chief is a peace ambassador who means well for the community. Every year he makes us read the Quran and also brings together Malams to pray for the country. May Allah bless him.
The Saki Zango of the Ashanti region, Sultan Alhaji Umar Farouk Said, commended the Vice President for the gesture and urged Muslims across the country to use the holy month to pray for the prosperity of the nation and to also reinforce the importance of peaceful coexistence between Muslims and people of other faiths. Ramadan is the 9th month in the Muslim lunar calendar. Healthy adults fast in Ramadan from dawn until dusk. This includes abstaining from drinking, eating, immoral act and anger. Other acts of worship such as prayer, reading the Quran, and charity are also encouraged during the holy month. Muslims also believe the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan.
Let's come back to Accra, as a non-governmental organization is urging government to expand access to health in every community in order to deal with health needs of the people. This came to light when the Universal Wonderful Street Academy organized health screening at Jamestown here in Accra, where hundreds were screened of various diseases.
The health screening at Universal Wonderful Street Academy and its partners is part of its corporate social responsibility. Hundreds of individuals were screened of various diseases including malaria, typhoid, hepatitis, glucose, and others. Health personnel in charge of the screening exercise prescribed drugs for the residents of Jamestown. Louise Nee Crunchy II is the founder and director of the Universal Wonderful Street Academy.
It's very, very necessary that we watch the food that we are eating and the kind of people that drinks that we drink. It's very, very important. And I will not say that no parents, nobody would like to be sick and not going to hospital. But sometimes it's because of the system, you know, things become very, very difficult because they know if people even have money, they go, it's very difficult for them. So what about them not having money? Then it will become more difficult.
Partners at the health screening called for more efforts from the government to ensure the health centers are situated at various communities to deal with various health needs of the ordinary Ghanaian.
I think it is very important to get more doctors to tell them about the importance of having health checks. And this is not enough just once or twice a week. It's not enough. I think we should have health checks everywhere in Ghana, not only in Jamestown, everywhere, because I know that most of the people, they cannot afford to go to the doctor and give them money and have the treatment.
But I see that the people, they don't make this checkup, and they have blood pressure, diabetic, they have heart problem, heart attack or strokes. So it's very important to take it seriously.
Beneficiaries were happy for the health screening.
Free.
We're back after this break. In business tonight, the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction and Industry, Emmanuel Cherry, has called on the government to ensure proper regional demarcation of lands to ensure efficient use and legitimate ownerships, thereby avoiding land litigations.
Need to do as a country holistically, number one, to rezone the entire country. Let's do proper demarcation so that this influx of urban rural migration must at least reduce. Because everybody sees Accra or Kumasi to be the, how do you call it, the cash cow. So everybody wants to go in there. So therefore, what happens? We are becoming overcrowding. And if there is overcrowding, the commodities become scarce. So if it becomes scarce, then price fluctuation also cash in. So the fewer facilities you have in there, monopolies takes a set in, and then before you realize, the price fluctuation keep increasing. And redemarcate this country. All the regions. And this land has been earmarked for this particular purpose, and you know where to get it. You see, but in this case, it's in the hands of some few persons, and then they are dilly-dallying with it. So if that happens, they finish selling the land. They still need, how do you call it, to break an evens. So what happened? They turn back and do otherwise, and land litigation comes in. And that's why you see Langard. What we need to do as a country holistically, number one, to rezone the entire country. Let's do proper demarcation so that this influx of urban rural migration must at least reduce. Because everybody sees Accra or Kumasi to be the, how do you call it, the cash cow. So everybody wants to go in there. So therefore, what happens? We are becoming overcrowding. And if there is overcrowding, the commodities become scarce. So if it becomes scarce, then price fluctuation also cash in. So the fewer facilities you have in there, monopolies takes a set in, and then before you realize, the price fluctuation keep increasing. And redemarcate this country. All the regions. And this land has been earmarked for this particular purpose, and you know where to get it. You see, but in this case, it's in the hands of some few persons, and then they are dilly-dallying with it. So if that happens, they finish selling the land. They still need, how do you call it, to break an evens. So what happened? They turn back and do otherwise, and land litigation comes in. And that's why you see Langard.
Data from the Bank of Ghana has revealed that the nation's economic growth momentum is expected to be moderate in the first half of 2022 due to the rise in input costs triggered by the upward adjustments in petroleum prices.
Global growth for 2022 is projected to be moderated according to the forecast from the IMF World Economic Outlook for January 2022. Increased geopolitical tensions and impositions of sanctions on Russia due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict could have dire consequences on global oil and gas prices. On the domestic front, growth momentum is expected to moderate in the first half of 2022 due to the rising input cost triggered by the upward adjustment in petroleum prices. Also, the latest Bank of Ghana service result indicated softening consumer and business confidence, which may affect private sector production plans and investment. This notwithstanding, the gradual rebound in private sector credit will continue to drive the growth process in the near term. Fiscal policy implementation has come under strain, reflecting embedded rigidities in the fiscal framework, which will require extensive structural reforms to free fiscal space and restore both fiscal and debt sustainability. In particular, revenue performance has been slow to align with projections, while expenditure remains rigid downwards despite the strong effort to cut expenditure by 20% as announced by the government. These developments have resulted in financing constraints which would have to be swiftly resolved to achieve the announced fiscal consolidation.
In entertainment tonight, music producer Way Otin has thanked the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards for giving credit to Apietus for his work on a Free Wuta song, Country Hot.
A few weeks ago, Way Otin criticized the board members of the VGMAs for not doing their due diligence when they nominated only a Free Wuta for the song in the Audio Engineer of the Year category. After his rebuke of the VGMAs, the organizers of the award scheme, Charterhouse, clarified that Efriye Wuta didn't add Apietu's name as a sound engineer of the song. Otin said he knew most artists in the country who have the skill to mix and master their own songs. He was sure Efriye did not master the song himself, although he told the VGMA that he did. As a result of his efforts to ensure this anomaly was fixed, the VGMAs recognized Apietu's as the technical brain behind the song. Wei Otin shared his elation on Facebook when the VGMAs released a flyer that acknowledged Apietu's the sound engineer for Country Hot. Finally, the right thing has been done. No voice is too small not to get the right thing done. Let's continue to prompt ourselves and save the industry that's made us. No one is perfect, but collective efforts can make something right, he wrote on his Facebook page. He thanked Charterhouse for rectifying the mistake. Thank you VGMA 23 and Charterhouse. Apietus now can sleep. Efriye Wuta, kudos. Let's all win, he added.
Nigerian R&B singer Banky Wellington, popularly known as Banky W, has announced his intention to contest for House of Representatives seat on the ticket of PDP in Nigeria.
Good morning, beautiful people. Banky Wellington, Banky W here. Just finished working out. Today we've got to go speak to some young people at a Future Leaders Conference, and then we're going to the office to get together with our volunteers, and then we're going to the ward to make the declaration. Banky Wellington for House of Reps, PDP Etiosa. We move.
Ladies and gentlemen, tweets don't win elections. Followers don't win elections. I can testify. But at the end of the day, protesting is not enough. Talking is not enough. We have to move from protest to power.
Protein shake for that energy. Because today we go to the ward. I really want to appreciate you guys for, because all of this was very last minute, right? I don't know whether you're expecting it, but you're here and it means the world to me. So we're gonna move. Right? It's not, last time we did a declaration in Landmark, bougie events. You remember?
We're not so informed.
We didn't. Are you ready?
Yes.
PDP.
Power.
Talk and do.
We move.
We move.
Talk and do.
That's good. That's good. Oh, yeah.
I just want to officially declare to my world people that I, Banky Wellington, will be contesting for the ticket to represent Etiosa Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives in 2023.
It's not only going to add value.
You don't talk, I use some
for having a current. By the time we are having the election, that much I can assure you.
I said talk and do. Talk and do. God bless you, everybody. I appreciate you.
That's all for now. But before we go, a look again at our top stories. President of the Ghana School of Law, alleged to have misappropriated funds, describes as unconstitutional and laughable, reports that he is being interdicted. The Institute of Energy Security predicts fuel prices will stay same or go down marginally for the remainder of April 2022. And we took you to Somalia, where the United Nations has condemned an attack by the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab on Somalia's parliament, which injured at least 7 people, including bodyguards. That's what time will allow for this edition of News Night. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.